Hi everyone, I'm Stefan from Mix66, a professional mixing engineer, and in this video I want to talk about 5 lessons I have learned from mixing hundreds and hundreds of songs. I mean, I don't know how many songs I have exactly mixed, but I'm doing this now for almost a decade, so I think it is quite a high number. Anyways, in this video I don't want to talk about mixing music, but about producing music. Because I, as a mixing and mastering engineer, am the last step of music production, so I have seen awesome productions and also other productions that weren't quite as good. So in this video I want to share 5 things that I think made the difference between the great productions and the not so great ones. So let's jump into it. Thing number 1 is the song itself must be great. What I mean by that? Well, the songwriting must be great if you want a great mix. Mixing and mastering cannot rescue magically a poorly written song. Some people unfortunately think if they send their mediocre production to a great mixing or mastering engineer that they will get back a #1 worldwide hit. But the reality is that the most important step of music production is songwriting. Of course, a greatly written song will become a masterpiece with the proper production and mixing and mastering. But if you take a poorly written song, you can make it more interesting with a great production, a great mix and a great master. But it is, as many things in life, if the fundamentals are not right, then the final result will not be that great. So my tip is focus more on songwriting before worrying about other steps of the music production chain. And if you are not a great songwriter yet, then don't worry. Also here, practice makes perfect. So keep on writing songs and you will see that you will eventually become a great songwriter. The second thing that I have learned is get it right at the source. Of course, while mixing you can do a lot of tips and tricks, but for me, the most powerful, so the best sounding mixing technique is still getting great source tones. And that is true for every instrument. If you have mediocre recordings, then all a mixing engineer can do is to not make them sound like crap in the mix. But if you have great recordings, then a great mixing engineer will turn your production into a sonic masterpiece. And the same goes for performances. There is no editing technique or tool or software or anything that sounds better than great performances. So my tip is invest more time in the recording of the things and getting the tones right at recording. It may be more work while recording, but it will be well worth the effort in the long run. And this is especially true for vocals. I consider vocals so important that I want to make that a separate point. So thing number 3 I have learned about music production while mixing is vocal performance is crucial. The main vocal is for me the most important track in a song, and therefore it has to absolutely sound perfect. Not just sound perfect, but it has to be recorded perfectly. The thing with vocals is that you can edit them tuning wise, or you can also slip them around timing wise, but you can't change the expression and character of a voice. And I think that is the most important thing for listeners. If you want to truly connect emotionally to a song, it is most of the time because of the sound of the vocal. We as humans, we communicate with our voices, so we hear every little detail in character and expression of other people. And this is obviously true not only for spoken words, but also for sung words. If you record a flat vocal, so with flat I mean without any expression or character in the vocal, then I'm pretty sure that it won't be a mega success. So therefore, if I'm asking a producer to re-record any of the tracks, 9 out of 10 times it is the vocal. Sometimes it happens that maybe a guitar is a bit off and I ask the producer to re-record it, or the producer listens to the first mix and he wants to re-record it again. That all happens. But most of the time I listen to the vocal track, or the producer then listens to the vocal track, and we hear that the vocal performance is just not good enough. So my tip is to prioritize vocal recordings, especially the main vocal, with harmonies and some choirs or whatever you have going on. You can fool around, you can tune them with autotune and nobody will notice, but the main vocal has to be perfect. It may take some extra takes, or it could also happen that your singer just has a bad day and you have to postpone your vocal recording, but you have to make sure that the vocal is recorded properly. As I said, mostly for expression and character of the voice, but obviously if you get the timing and the pitch right during the recording, the end product will sound better. And at this point, I also want to share a prime example of a song I have mixed where the vocal was performed and recorded just perfectly, that I used only 4 plugins to mix it and it sounded awesome. I will also put the link to the song in the description. It is Du verschwendest mich bei Stunde Null. The vocal performance from Aaron, the singer, was just perfect. You can hear that he felt the song, so the performance was powerful and with character and expression in his voice. And also the vocal production by Jonas Rabensteiner, the producer and guitarist of Stunde Null, was great. So all I had to do was, let's take a look at the session. I applied a little bit of de-essing, some broad strokes with an EQ, a little bit of compression and a multiband compression to make it sit better in the mix. That's all I needed to do, because the vocal production was great, so the performance and also the recording of the vocal. On to the next thing. Thing number 4 is songwriting and arrangement are part of mixing. What I mean by that is every step of music production affects the other. So all the things you do while songwriting and arranging affects also the mixing and the mastering process. This may sound obvious, but the reason why I wanted to include this point in this list was sometimes bands, artists or music producers are afraid of taking decisions. But music production is all about taking decisions and making compromises. If you are afraid of taking decisions, someone else will do them for you. In case you're a music producer, then your mixing engineer will have to take those decisions. If you send your mixing engineer 100 bass instruments, being it a real bass guitar or a bass synth or whatever, then your mixing engineer will have to make a decision which one is the most important and mute the others or turn them down quite a bit. Otherwise, the mix will be a mess. I've made the experience that sometimes people are a bit afraid or they don't know which direction they want to go, so they want to keep every possibility open until the mastering process, but music production doesn't work that way. You have to make decisions, you have to prioritize things and neglect others, because there is no room for everything. So especially arrangement affects the mixing or how the mix turns out. So my tip for music producers is make decisions early on in the producing process. Of course, you can change them later on, but commit to things and do not leave everything to the mixing engineer. I think in that way, your mixing engineer is able to make a mix that is truer to your sonic vision for the song, and also the process of the collaboration will be easier for both of you. And that takes us to point number 5. Last but not least, music is an art form, and there is no right or wrong in music. Music and every step of music production is a highly subjective thing, so I think there is no right or wrong. There are only things that you like more and things that you like less, or you don't like at all. So I think this is important for you to keep in mind when you're writing songs. Sometimes you think, well, this sounds great, but I cannot do it. While in music you can do everything. Just imagine if someone told Billie Eilish you can't stack 200 whispered vocals on top of each other. You see, if you think something sounds great while you are producing music, then commit to it, and also tell the mixing engineer that you think this sounds great and therefore this is an important part for you, and he should emphasize your vision for the song. It could be that you are working with people that have a different taste in things or they hear things differently. So I think in such situations it is important to be open, to talk about it, and to remember that there is no right or wrong in music and that there are many valid approaches. So whoever you're working with, being it bands, bandmates, music producers, mixing engineers, talk a lot about your creative vision for the song and how you want to approach it. And also be open to hear their opinion about it. And here's a little tip from my side. Yes, I said be open in the collaboration, talk about it, hear other people's opinion, but in the end, trust your own creative vision. If you want that things sound in a certain way, then also be confident to tell other people so. This doesn't mean that you are right and other people are wrong. This just means that you're the creative decision maker and therefore everybody else should follow your creative vision for the song. This is my ultimate goal as a mixing engineer. I want to make the song sound like the producer or the band had it in their mind. Of course, sometimes I would like to change a bit more so that I like the song more, but in the end, if a band or music producer tells me this is exactly what I was looking for, then I'm happy. So to recap the 5 things I've learned about music production from mixing hundreds of songs. Number 1, the song itself must be great. Number 2, get it right at the source. Number 3, vocal performance is crucial. Number 4, songwriting and arranging are part of mixing, so take decisions while you are producing the song. And number 5, music is art, so there is no right or wrong. I want to end this video with a thought that I have often while mixing or while working on music productions, and that is the importance of experimenting while making music. I mean, making music is the greatest thing in the world, and you should also have fun while doing so, and you should be also open to fuck things up. So try things out, mess around, and in the end you will get great results. I'm curious to hear your experiences, so please let me know in the comments your learnings while working in music production. And lastly, I want to tell you about an offer that I have going on, and that is a free test mix. So if you are interested to hear your production mixed by me, then just apply through the link in the description and you can hear how your music could sound when mixed by me without any commitment. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have learned something today, and if you want to learn more about music production, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Bye.